Hey guys, welcome back to One Stop Biology. So today we are going to start off with the last topic of structural organization in animals, the chapter we are dealing in class 11th NCERT. So guys, we have already covered different type of tissues, tissue systems. We have covered the entire anatomy and morphology of earthworm. Then we covered the entire anatomy and morphology of cockroach, and in this video we are going to cover entire anatomy and morphology of frogs. So basically guys, frog live both on land and in fresh water, right? So they are basically terrestrial as well as aquatic. Now they belong to class amphibia and phylum chordata. They belong to class amphibia and phylum chordata. Now, the most common species of frog in India is Rana tigrina. Rana tigrina, right? So basically, with frog, what happens is that they do not have constant body temperature. That is, their temperature, body temperature varies with temperature of the environment. That is why they are known as cold-blooded or poikilotherms, right? Now, they also have the ability to camouflage. They basically mimic their environment in order to hide themselves from predators, and they undergo summer sleep, which is estivation, and winter sleep, which is known as hibernation. So they undergo, so basically their since their body cannot regulate temperature, and the body temperature varies with temperature of the environment. When it's extreme hot or extreme cold, they go into sleep, right? So they basically get into summer sleep and winter sleep, estivation and hibernation. Now let's start off with their morphology. So I'm not sure whether you have dissected frog till now or not, but for the first time when I dissected frog in my graduation, I felt that this skin is very smooth. It's very sensitive is how it feels when you touch the frog, and it's very slippery as well. Now it this is because of they have a layer of mucus on their skin, right? So basically, their skin is always, remember guys, their skin is always maintained in that moist condition, right? So their skin is always moist. Now, if you see the colors of the dorsal side, basically the side that we see when we see a frog, the upper side, the dorsal side of body is usually olive green, and there are irregular dark color spots, right? But if you see the ventral side, the lower side of their body, the skin is uniform in color and it is pale yellow, right? And there is one thing that the frog never ever drinks water. The frog absorbs the water through the skin, right? Now, if you see the morphology, the frog, the frog's body is divided into the body is divided into head and trunk. It is divided into head and trunk. And neck and tail both are absent, right? Now, if you see above the mouth, so let's see the diagram itself. Yes, so this is basically how a frog looks like, right? Now, basically above the mouth, they have a pair of nostrils, right? And eyes are basically bulged out. So this is the eye. This is the head. If you see the eye, they are bulged out and they are covered by nictitating membrane that protects the eye when the frog is in water. Now, in either side of eyes, there is a membrane which is known as tympanum, which is basically ear. It receives sound signals, right? Then they have forelimb. These are the forelimbs, and they have hind limbs. So there are a pair of forelimb and a pair of hind. So now the forelimb and hind limbs also help them in swimming. So it helps in swimming, walking, leaping, or burrowing, right? For everything. Now the hind limbs, if you see the hind limbs end in 5 digits, right? And they are larger and muscular. So if you see this area, they have 5 digits, and these limbs are larger and they're more muscular, right? Now, forelimbs, if you see, the forelimbs basically just have 4 digits, right? So they have webbed digits. Their feet, the limbs have webbed digits. These webbed digits. These webbed digits basically help them in swimming, right? Now, if you see, basically, frog exhibit sexual dimorphism, right? So male frogs can be distinguished by the presence of sound producing vocal sacs, and they also have a copulatory pad on the first digit of the forelimb. Remember, first digit of the forelimb, and these things are absent in female frogs. So this is the trunk, guys, right? So this basically is the external feature of frog. This is the morphology. Now let's move towards anatomy. So now if you see their anatomy, the body cavity of frog accommodate different organ systems. So they have digestive system, they have circulatory system, they have respiratory system, they have nervous system, excretory system, and reproductive system. And all of these are well developed structures and they have well developed functions as well. So we are going to start off with the digestive system. We will basically take up all these systems one by one, starting with the digestive system. So let's see the diagram itself. So this, guys, is the digestive system of frog. This is the digestive system. Now, if we talk about the digestive system of frog consists of the digestive system consists of first alimentary canal, right? And then they have digestive glands. Then they have digestive glands. Now let's take up alimentary canal first. Now the alimentary canal is short. Remember that the alimentary canal is short, right? And this is because frogs are carnivores, right? So basically the length of intestine is reduced in case of frogs. Now the mouth opens into a buccal cavity that leads to esophagus. So basically this is esophagus. Right? Now this esophagus leads to pharynx, and basically this the mouth leads to esophagus through pharynx. So above this there'll be pharynx, and esophagus is a short tube which opens into stomach. So this is stomach, right? And stomach continues to intestine. So this is intestine, right? And intestine ends at rectum, and this rectum finally opens outside by a cloacal aperture. There is a cloacal aperture, right? Now what happens is basically then they have liver as well, right? So this is liver. This is entire liver. Now liver basically secretes bile which is stored in the gallbladder. So here this green color organ that you see is gallbladder. So liver secretes bile which gets stored in gallbladder. Now, apart from that, they have pancreas as well. So, basically, now then they have pancreas, which is the digestive gland. That pancreas produces pancreatic juices as well, which contains digestive enzymes, right? Now, apart from that, food is captured by the bilobed tongue. So, they have bilobed tongue which captures the food. Now, digestion of food takes place by the action of hydrochloric acid and gastric juices, which are secreted from the walls of the stomach. Now, this partially digested food, which is known as chyme, is passed from stomach to the first part of the initial part of the basically this part of the intestine, right? Which is known as the duodenum. Now, this duodenum also receives bile from gallbladder and pancreatic juices from the pancreas through a common bile duct. Now, this bile emulsifies fat and pancreatic juices digest carbohydrate and proteins. And finally, this final digestion takes place in the intestine. Now, this digested food is absorbed by numerous finger-like folds which are present in the inner wall of intestine. Now, these are known as villi and microvilli, right? So the digested food is absorbed and the undigested solid waste move towards rectum and passes through cloacal aperture, right? So this entire thing you see is the digestive system. Basically, this is lung. These are some fat bodies. These are the kidneys. So this is kidney. Then you have ureter. You have urinary bladder. And you have cloaca. And this is the cloacal aperture. So this is the entire digestive system. It's very similar to how we read the digestive system of ours, right? So you have bile, you have all the secretory digestive juices, right? You have well developed organs like pancreas, gallbladder, and everything, right? This is the digestive system. Now let's move towards the respiratory system. Now the frog respire on land and in water by two different methods, remember, right? So in water, their skin act as aquatic respiratory system. Their skin act as aquatic respiratory system. This kind of respiration is known as cutaneous respiration through skin, right? So basically the dissolved oxygen which is present in the water is exchanged through the skin by diffusion. Now, what happens on land? On land, the buccal cavity, which is skin and lungs. I mean, in the diagram, we saw that they have lungs, right? So on land, the buccal cavity, skin and lungs. What? Buccal cavity, skin and lungs. They together are the respiratory organs. Now, this is the case on land, remember. In water, it is cutaneous respiration through skin, right? So basically, this kind of respiration is known as pulmonary, through lungs, pulmonary respiration, right? So the dissolve here, what happens is that respiration is by lungs. Now, the lungs are basically a pair of elongated pink color sac-like structure which is present in the upper part of the trunk region, which is known as thorax. Now, the air enters through the nostrils into the buccal cavity and then to the lungs. And during estivation and hibernation, during their summer and winter sleep, the gases exchange takes place through skin, right? So when they are asleep, the gases exchange takes place through skin. So this entire is the respiratory system, right? Dual respiratory system is what they have, cutaneous and pulmonary. Now, what is the vascular system of frog? So the vascular system is well developed, closed type, right? So they have a lymphatic system as well. Now the blood vascular system involves heart. So basically their blood vascular system involves one heart, then they have blood vessels, and then they have blood as well, right? So and this is the vascular system. This is the vascular system. Now they have lymphatic system as well, right? That is what we said. So they have lymphatic system as well. Now lymphatic system consists of lymph. They have lymph channels and then they have lymph nodes. They have lymph channels and lymph nodes. Now let's go towards heart. So heart basically is a muscular structure which is situated in the upper part of the body cavity. Heart has three chambers. Is three chambered. Heart is three-chambered, right? Now, two atria and one ventricle. Two atria and one ventricle. And basically heart is covered by a membrane which is known as pericardium. So heart is covered by pericardium. Heart is covered by pericardium. Now apart from that, there is a triangular structure which is known as sinus venosus, This sinus venosus joins the right atrium, right? Now it receives blood through major veins which are known as vena cava. The major blood veins are vena cava. So heart receives blood through vena cava and ventricles open into a sac-like conus which is known as conus arteriosus, which is present on the ventral side of the heart. Now the blood from the heart is carried out to all parts of the body by arteries. So they have arterial system as well. And veins collect blood from different part of the body to the heart and forms the venous system. So they have the arterial system and the venous system. They have arteries and veins as well. Now there is special venous connection between liver and intestine, and then kidney and lower parts of the body are present in frogs, right? So there is a special venous connection between liver and intestine and kidney and lower parts of the body, right? Now the connection between liver and intestine is known as hepatic portal system, and kidney and lower part is known as renal portal system, right? So what happens is blood is composed of plasma and cells. Now in cells again so basically all these systems are fully developed, right guys? So now the blood has RBCs, they have WBC and platelets. They have white red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets, right? Now if we talk about red blood cells, it's nucleated and it contains red colored pigment which is known as hemoglobin. And then lymph, which is present in the lymphatic system, is very different from blood. Why? Because it lacks proteins and RBCs, the red blood cells, right? Now what happens is that the blood carries nutrients, it carries gases, and it carries water. So it carries nutrients, gases, and water to the respective sites during circulation. Remember, guys, right? Now, the circulation of blood is achieved by pumping action of the muscular heart. So it's very similar to highly developed organisms. It's just that the heart is three-chambered. Like our heart is four-chambered, right? But they have two atria and one ventricle, right? Now let's move towards the excretory system. Now the elimination of nitrogenous wastes that is carried out by the well-developed excretory system. So excretory systems consist of first a pair of kidneys. So they have a pair of kidneys. Then ureter, ureters. Second is ureters. Third is cloaca. Third is cloaca. And fourth is urinary bladder. Fourth is urinary bladder. Now kidneys, let's go first start with kidneys. So kidneys are compact. Kidneys are compact, dark red and bean-like structure which is situated a little posteriorly in the body cavity on both sides of vertebral column. So on both sides of vertebral column towards the posterior end you have both the kidneys. Now each kidney is composed of several structural and functional units which are known as nephrons. They are known as nephrons or uriniferous tubules, right? Now after that they have ureters. So two different ureters emerge from both from both kidneys, right? In the male frogs. And ureters, in females, what happens is ureters and oviduct, they open separately in the cloaca, right? Then they have a thin walled urinary bladder which is present ventral to the rectum. So you have rectum towards the dorsal end and you have the urinary bladder towards the ventral end, and that also opens into the cloaca, right? Now the frog again are ureotelic. They are ureotelic. Like we saw, cockroaches are uricotelic. They excrete uric acid and frogs excrete urea, right? So excretory wastes are carried by blood into the kidney where it is separated and excreted through the cloaca, right? So this is the entire excretory system. Now let's move towards the nervous system, the system for control and coordination. So basically the system for control and coordination include neural system and endocrine glands as well. Now see guys, their bodies developed from what we studied in the case of earthworm and cockroaches, right? So the chemical coordination of various organs of the body is achieved by hormones. Now these hormones are secreted by endocrine glands. Now there are prominent endocrine glands in frogs, like we have pituitary, we have thyroid, we have parathyroid, thymus, pineal body, pancreatic, islets, adrenal, and gonads, right? Apart from that, they have a nervous system as well. So the nervous system is organized into a central nervous system and a peripheral nervous system, and then a third autonomic nervous system. So the central nervous system has brain and spinal cord. The central nervous system has brain and spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system has cranial and spinal nerves. So these has nerves. And autonomic nervous system has sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves, basically parasympathetic and parasympathetic actions. So there are guys total 10 pair of cranial nerves which arises from the brain. So there are 10 pairs of cranial nerves which arises from the brain, and brain is enclosed in a bony structure which is known as brain box or cranium. So brain is enclosed inside cranium, and brain is divided into forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. If brain is divided into forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. Now, forebrain includes olfactory lobes, paired cerebral hemispheres, and unpaired diencephalon, right? Midbrain includes pair of optic lobes, right, for vision. And hindbrain consists of cerebellum and medulla oblongata. Now, remember, medulla oblongata passes out through the foramen magnum, and that continues into the spinal cord, and the spinal cord is enclosed in the vertebral column, right? So again, this is the entire nervous system. Now let's move towards sense organs. So again, they have different types of sense organs, guys. They can feel, so they have touch, they have sensory papillae. They can taste, they have taste buds. They can smell, they have nasal epithelium. They have vision because they have eyes, and they can hear because they have tympanum with internal ears, right? So apart from that, eyes and internal ears are well organized structures of in frogs, right? Now, apart from that, rest are cellular aggregations around nerve endings. Now, eyes in their case is a pair of spherical structure which is situated in the orbit of skull. So the skull has orbits which has eyes. Eyes are simple. So they just basically possess one unit. It's not compound or it's not different like we had in the case of cockroaches, right? Here they have simple eyes. The external ear is absent, like you can see that within humans we have external ear as well, right? They just have tympanum, an opening, that's it. And internally they have an ear. So ear basically for them is an organ of hearing as well as balancing. So providing the body with an equilibrium is what we mean by balancing, right? So the ear is used for hearing as well as balancing the body, right? Now let's move towards the reproductive system, guys. So frogs have well developed, well organized male and female reproductive system, right? Let's start with the male reproductive system. Now the male reproductive organs consist of a yellowish ovoid testis. So let's see in the diagram itself. So this is the reproductive system, guys. Now the yellow structure that you see here, this is testis, right? This is another testis. So this they have a pure pair of yellowish ovoid testis. Now these are adhered to the upper part of kidney. This is nothing but kidney, guys. These are kidney. So this is kidney. So basically the testis is adhered to the upper part of kidney. So this is kidney, or these are fat bodies, if you remember. Right. Now basically they are, how are they connected? They are connected by a double fold of peritoneum, which is known as mesorchium. They are connected by mesorchium, right? Then they have vasa efferentia. These are vasa efferentia. Now, vasa efferentia are 10 to 12 in number. They are 10 to 12 in number, remember, right? And they arise from testes. Now, these vasa efferentia enter the kidneys on the side and opens into Bidder's canal. Where do they open? They open into Bidder's canal, right? Now, finally, these vasa efferentia communicates with the urinogenital duct that comes out of the kidneys and opens into cloaca. So, if you remember, this is cloaca, right? This is cloacal aperture, and this is urinogenital duct. This basically is rectum, right? And this is urinary bladder. This is adrenal gland, right? Now this cloaca is a small median chamber which is used to pass fecal matter, urine, and sperm. So there is a common duct and a common opening for discharge of fecal matter, urine, and sperms outside the body of the male frog, right? So this is the male reproductive system. Now let's move towards the female reproductive system, okay? So the female reproductive system, if you will see the female reproductive system, basically this is the female reproductive system. Now the female reproductive organs basically include ovaries. So these are the ovaries. These are the ovaries. So this is one of the ovary, this is the other ovary, right? Now ovaries are situated again near kidneys, but there is no functional connection with kidneys as we have in case of male reproductive frog, male frog, right? So basically it leads to a pair of oviduct. So these are oviduct, right? Now a pair of oviduct arise from the ovaries and it opens into the cloaca separately. So if you see the oviduct here, this basically is opening separately in the cloaca. So again, this is the cloaca. This is the cloacal aperture. This is the urinary bladder. This is ureter, right? And inside these ovaries will have ova as well. The egg will have, right? So remember that here we have a separate oviduct which opens in the cloaca directly and separately. There's no connection between the excretory system and the reproductive system in case of female. Now, a mature female can lay up to 2500 to 3000 ova at a time. A mature female can lay 2500 to 300 eggs at a time. The fertilization is external and it takes place in water. Now there is a developmental stage as well, which is a larval stage. These larval stage frogs are known as tadpoles. They are known as Tadpole. So tadpole undergoes metamorphosis. It undergoes metamorphosis to form an adult frog, right? So basically, if you study their metamorphosis, they have tail. When tadpoles have tail, but frogs do not. Now, how are frogs beneficial to mankind? So basically, frogs are very important part of the entire food chain because they eat insects and they protect the crops, right? So basically, frogs are helpful in maintaining ecological balance because they serve as an important link of food chain and food web in the ecosystem, right? So basically, this is all about the complete morphology and anatomy of frog, guys, right? So with this, we have finished the entire chapter 7 of class 11th NCRT, and we have finished it as per the NCRT syllabus. So guys, I hope you would have understood the entire chapter properly. If not, please do let me know in the comment section. You can also message your doubts on the WhatsApp number which is given in the description of the video. But guys, please do not forget to give me feedback because your feedback is very important. And on the basis of your feedback, I'm going to improvise my video as well. So please do let me know if you like the video or if you have any doubt in the comment section. And please like the video, share it with your friends. And if you are new to the channel, please do not forget to subscribe to the video. Let's start with the next chapter from the next video and see you in the next video, guys. Bye bye.